What's up, everybody? Welcome to Gaming Geeks Live, and in today's episode, we're going to talk about
What if Luke joined Vader in the dark side at the end of Empire Strikes Back? Stay tuned.
all right, that's today's episode, buddy. We're going to jump right into Star Wars. And what did you say? Luke joins Vader at the end of Empire?
Yeah, remember the Empire there? He's fighting Vader, and the Emperor's
know the power of the dark side.
And the Emperor's there, and they're saying he's going to turn, and he's going to turn, and
Yep.
of course he gets pissed off, starts whacking away at Vader, and knocks him down.
We've all been angry when we whacked. So, by the way, I am your host, Matt.
And I'm Rick.
And yeah, that's going to be today's segment, man. What if Luke was able to be persuaded in joining the dark side with Vader? Is this before or after he got his hand ganked?
No, this is at the end, isn't it?
Yeah, but we're talking Empire, right? When he's on Cloud City and he got his hand cut off, remember?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You know what?
Yeah, that's what we're talking about, Empire, right? Because, that's what I'm talking about, is because Vader was already trying to convince him of the dark side at Empire Strikes Back. You don't know the power, and this and that, and it's like impressive, most impressive, and
Oh, my bad. I was thinking.
well, you still said Empire.
Yeah, I was.
You said it right.
But I was thinking the battle they had where Sidious was in his chair and they were Luke and
You think of Return of the Jedi on the second
Right.
Death Star, right?
yeah.
I will not fight you. Yeah, no. You said Empire, and you're right. And because he was already trying to do the recruiting at the end of Empire, because he had used Han Solo as a practice as what he planned on for Luke. Luke was going to be the one frozen in carbonite, remember, and given to the Emperor ultimately. But Vader was still trying to, during their fight, he's still telling Luke about the power of the dark side, and yeah. And there's no, that's not true. That's impossible. Luke's such a whiner, but I mean, I guess I would be too if I find out my dad was pretty much in charge of killing billions of people on a planet. Even though that was more Tarkin, less Vader, but yeah.
Yeah, Tarkin's a real nice guy too.
Yeah. He had some inner issues.
So Luke, they're fighting.
But you know what? He lowered the crime rate to 0 on Alderaan.
Yeah,
There's a lot to be
is
said.
that what you call a victimless crime?
I'm just saying, there's no more crime.
There's no more victims. So they're in Cloud City, they're fighting,
Mm-hmm.
he whacks off his hand, tells him he's his father, and then finally says,
I'm not mature enough to handle that last statement by you, but
yeah,
and then he tells him, no, I am your father.
Yeah.
And that's ultimately, I think that's where it started with the path, because what was it before the encounter? You see him kneeling in his chamber, and he goes, "What is thy bidding, my master?" And he starts basically telling Vader right then and there that the son of Skywalker, needs to be taken to the dark side. So that's kind of where it started. He's in his chamber, and he's bowing to Palpatine. And he's basically telling him what the task at hand is. And, Vader always had his own agenda anyway. Like, if you could see it big time in, like, the video game The Force Unleashed, and with Galen Merrick.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I think that he would have, together we can rule the galaxy as father and son. And he's, like, holding his hand out for Luke to join him. And what if Luke joined him right then and there? Because Luke had already had his hand cut off at that point. He's holding on to that railing or whatever before he lets himself drop.
He should have gave him the fake end.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, come on, his dad knew all about losing limbs, and
Right.
yeah, but I mean, and that's when he said, "Together we'll rule the galaxy." He even said that. He goes, something to the effect, I don't know the exact words, but the Emperor has not foreseen your power, basically. And then he says, you and I can rule the galaxy as father and son. He was ready to, if Luke was ready to join him there, they would have overthrown the Emperor together.
And if you think about it, Luke was pretty weak at that point.
He was. He had limited training. Yeah.
He had like a month. I mean, how long was he with Obi-Wan?
You mean Yoda on Dagobah?
No, well, I mean...
Because he'd already had training at Dagobah, too.
Oh, okay.
I mean, he was still weaker, because Yoda even said only a full-fledged Jedi Knight can go up against Vader. You know what I mean? Can conquer and defeat Vader.
Okay, my timelines are...
No, it's okay.
What?
He had already been on Dagobah. That's why he went to Bespin, because he saw the vision of his friends in trouble and he had to leave.
Right.
And so Yoda's like, you're leaving before your training. He even said that in Return of the Jedi. You rushed off to incomplete was your training. And so anyway, having said that, he still was powerful enough to face Vader, and it was a good duel. It really was. I mean, he was learning. At that time, that was Luke's best lightsaber duel that I've seen. I thought that was a better lightsaber duel than Return of the Jedi.
Okay.
And so, yeah. But anyway, and then that's when he says the Emperor has not. He's overseen it. I can't think of the exact words, but he's explaining to Luke while Luke's holding on to the thing that the Emperor has not seen. He has overseen it or whatever. But anyway, yeah.
So Luke turns. He says, "Okay, you're my father," and he's full of emotion anyway, so that would make him susceptible. And so he turns.
Their first step would be overthrowing the Emperor, because that's basically what that was his pitch. And you and I can rule the galaxy as father and son.
Okay. So Vader has this big weakness, to force lightning. Because of all his stuff, he's not going to be a very good opponent against Sidious. So he's going to have to rely on Luke to take him on.
Definitely.
Unless he could catch him by surprise or something like that.
Right.
And Sidious obviously is aware of Luke and aware of the seduction that's going on. And as we know from Star Wars stories and history, Sidious is very calculated.
Right.
I mean, he basically controlled both sides of the Clone War. And he thought many years ahead on that. So it's going to be a challenge for them to defeat Sidious, even though it's 2 against 1.
Right. Definitely. I don't think that they have what it takes to beat him, personally. I understand that Anakin's the chosen one, but he knows every angle of which direction you're coming at him. Palpatine does. He explains to Anakin the rule of 2, more or less, and then the dark plagueis the wise and things like that. So you got to know that he's already overthrown his master and murdered his master. He knows Vader is going to follow the same Sith rule. It is the Sith code that goes back well before the movies, with like the Exar Kuns and things like that. I mean, you had all these Sith back in the day. It was a rule of 2. You killed your master and you overtook him.
Right.
And so Palpatine had to know. I mean, look, Palpatine didn't even, I guess, if we're going by Disney standards, and I'm not going to rip on Disney, but if we're going by Disney standards, he was thrown down the ventilation shaft or whatever that shaft was at the end of Return of the Jedi, and it didn't even kill him, because he's back when it came to Rey in Rise of Skywalker. So how are they going to actually dispatch him for good? I don't know if they had what it takes. I understand that Anakin's the chosen one, but...
And he also was able to do Force visions or foretelling.
Right.
Palpatine. So he would have probably saw something.
Right.
That kind of told him what was going to happen.
I mean, in your personal opinion, can Luke and Vader overtake Palpatine?
I would say yes, except for I don't think Vader could do a direct attack on him unless it was a surprise attack.
It would have to be. And then again, right then and there, he's already reading the minds.
And plus, Palpatine has the Inquisitors.
Right.
Which are all former Jedi.
I mean, think of everything that he's aligned with by himself. Now, it's fair to say Palpatine didn't need Vader, but Vader technically needed Palpatine to some degree.
Right.
I just don't know if, when Yoda said, because Obi-Wan goes, that boy was our last hope. No, there is another. And when he said that, that tells me that I think that if they try to go against Palpatine, they lose, and the other prophecy is fulfilled by the other hope in Leia. Because Yoda flat out said, no, there is another. And then we find out a movie later that they are in fact siblings.
And if if you think back to later in Return of the Jedi when Palpatine is attacking Luke, it took Vader to do a surprise attack to eliminate him.
Right.
Right. Luke really wasn't able to put up much of a fight against Palpatine. And let's face it, he had a year of training.
Well, he was damn near a Jedi Knight at that point. Like he was powerful enough to be considered a full-fledged Jedi at that point.
But he still didn't have a lot of training.
Exactly.
And so,
I mean, he had less training than your average Jedi. I'll give him that. Maybe that's why he was such a pudwhack. But like look at Mace Windu. Mace Windu could handle him. He could handle Palpatine.
Yeah, but Yoda couldn't.
Yeah, true.
I mean, Yoda couldn't, but Mace could.
Yeah. Now again, was it set up for Anakin to intervene? We'll never know the true answer behind that. But Mace Windu did best Palpatine.
And it comes down to the lightsaber that he used to block. I mean, so Mace Windu and Obi-Wan both blocked Force lightning.
Because Obi-Wan from Dooku in Attack of the Clones, and then Mace Windu from Palpatine in Revenge of the Sith.
Did any other Jedi block Force lightning at all?
Not in the movies, I don't think. I mean, if you go to the Old Republic, I'm sure you saw it all the time. But I don't think they did in the movies. I've never seen it in the movies, except the first time I saw it in the movies was Obi-Wan in Attack of the Clones.
Now there is a chance that Vader could have blocked the Force lightning. He had how long as a Sith Lord?
Oh well, and think of Anakin's pure reflective training as a Jedi. He was like the most gifted Jedi at the time.
Yeah. So maybe he could block the Force lightning. I mean, if it hit him, he stows.
Right. If it hits him, absolutely. But what about? Let me ask you this though: do you think the Jedi feel the lightning through the lightsaber? Or is it because it's made of energy, it just absorbs it right then and there?
Yeah, that would be my guess. And
right.
Thinking back to how Mace did it, and how Obi-Wan did it. It's just like when they're blocking laser shots with this lightsaber, it doesn't actually go into them or strike them at all.
Right. True story. So then let me ask you the overall ramifications, not just in the sense of do they okay, so I guess the first thing is, do they end up overthrowing Palpatine in your mind? You think that they're able to pull it off? And if you do, we'll go past that now. And if not, then we'll, either way, we'll go past it. But I mean, for story purposes and prophecy-wise, yes, they would probably beat Palpatine. Do I think they both had it in them to beat Palpatine? He's the greatest Sith of all time.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm back and forth on that one.
So I mean, this goes back to. Is Luke the chosen one, or is Anakin the chosen one, or is Leia the chosen one?
Do we even really know who the chosen one is? Is it Anakin, I guess? I guess it is, because in the end of Return of the Jedi, he goes back to the light side in order to help Luke. But
because the chosen one is to bring balance to the Force. Okay, Anakin didn't bring balance. He
jumped back and forth.
I know, but he brought about the domination of the dark side.
Right.
So he didn't bring balance. Luke, basically, at that point, when at the end of Return of the Jedi, I think you see balance, because you've gotten rid of this two all-powerful Sith Lords. There's still Sith out there, and then and there's not many Jedi out there. So it's probably, at that point, pretty balanced.
There was a few Jedi survivors from Order 66. Like, the first one that comes to mind is Quinlan Vos. He was Aayla Secura's master. But here's something to think about. Look at Return of the Jedi. Let me ask you a question. On Return of the Jedi, would it have mattered if Vader defeated Palpatine or not by throwing him down that shaft? Because the Death Star was about to blow up either way. So it almost makes the whole Luke having to settle his thing with his father moot. Because, I mean, either way, the Death Star was getting destroyed whether Luke was on it or not. I mean, it's not like Lando leading the cavalry with knee numb in the Millennium Falcon and all those people attacking. They weren't waiting. You know, so it was a game of getting the hell off the Death Star before it blows up. So let's say that this is drawn out. Let's say this is just drawn out. Like, the battle went quickly enough for Luke to get off. But if Vader is unable to kill him and he's still squaring up with the Palpatine, I don't think Palpatine had the time to get off the Death Star either.
But he survived getting thrown down the shaft, and
right.
When the Death Star blew up.
Yeah, well, there you go. There was another kind of point I was going to. So how did he survive after falling down that and then it blowing up?
Scotty beamed him up.
Maybe Bruce Wayne used a lot of his money and resources to get him out of there in time.
Yeah, I mean, somehow it would have worked out.
Yeah.
I mean, if they defeated Palpatine, they would have both got on the without Vader taking all the Force lightning, they would have got on the ship.
I mean, like, let me ask you another question. Why did Darth Vader even have to die? Help me take this mask off, but you'll die.
Well, he probably didn't, but his life support was failing.
I get that, but like, okay, so his life support was failing, yet Leia can survive in outer space, floating. You see what I'm saying? So if the Force sustains her, why can't the Force sustain the most powerful Jedi to ever live? I mean, do you see what I'm saying? And I know we're kind of getting off the original subject, but there's so many Q&As that open this up.
You know, I think that if you go back to the movies,
yeah,
you know, they set it up by saying, Yoda saying there is another.
Right, which we knew was Leia at the end.
So, I mean, where, you know, there's a couple things that, you know, there's some things that have happened in the Star Wars that you don't have to change what's the storyline.
Right.
You know, it might become that the redemption story, instead of being Vader, it becomes Luke. He gets turned back based on, and it becomes not his children, but Leia's children, or Leia. Mm-hmm. You know, because Leia could be, she's still out there.
Right. I wish they would have honestly used the Star Wars that was written by a bunch of these authors afterwards. Like, Vector Prime was the first in a series of the Yuuzhan Vong invasion where Luke had a new Jedi Order and Leia was a Jedi. And Han and Leia had 3 children. They had twins, Jason and Jaina Solo, because twins were obviously, you know, ran in the family because of Luke and Leia. Mm-hmm. They had Jason and Jaina Solo, and then I believe Anakin Solo. So you had like these 3 kids. I think it was Anakin Solo, because Ben Solo is Kylo Ren. So I want to say Anakin. But anyway, long story short, such an amazingly well written thing. And when Disney bought it out, it was all just fodder, and that was so sad because it was so. There was a lot of. I think it was Anakin Solo, because I think Luke Skywalker had a child with Jade, Mara Jade, and they named that child Ben.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, another thing to consider is Luke is not going to be training all the new younglings. He's not going to train Ben Solo.
This is if he goes dark, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And we can get past Palpatine now if you want and go on to what happens, you know.
Now let's just say Palpatine stones Vader and Luke somehow
rule the galaxy as father and son.
Yeah, I mean, but at this point, I mean, did the Death Star blow up? Still. Probably. It was already past that point.
Yeah, I mean, I would think that there was nothing holding back. I think at that point, Lando leading the brigade, like I said, Lando and Nien Nunb were in the Falcon leading it. Was Chewie? Where was Chewie? Oh, Chewie was on Endor with the others. That's right. The Forest Moon, where the Ewoks saved the day. Dude, I'm so sick of Muppets saving the day in those movies. But, yeah, the Death Star blows up. But, I mean, did even if Vader gets Luke, does he even care? Does he even need the Death Star? If Luke joins him at the end of Empire Strikes Back, then, I mean, you know what? That's a good point, though. Maybe they don't have much of an objective to launch. I mean, they gotta retrain Leia all over again if that's the other hope. And do they have that kind of time with that reconstruction of the second and more powerful Death Star?
I mean, if that Death Star is destroyed, somehow Anakin or Vader and Luke get off, they still got a grip on the military.
Right, the Empire.
Yeah.
Well, what I'm saying is remember, Luke. If Luke joins Vader, that's at the end of Empire Strikes Back before their reconstruction of a new Death Star. So if Palpatine, let's say they gank Palpatine before Return of the Jedi, because that's going to be the first priority.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? So if they build another Death Star like the original plan was, then think about it. I mean,
nothing really changed there.
No, I don't think the rebellion could blow this one up because they're now retraining a new Jedi in Leia, and I don't know.
Who trains her?
I mean, you have Yoda he dies in Return of the Jedi. He's too old. He can't do it. He's too old.
Well, Obi-Wan could steer Leia to go, because with the Force Ghost, he could steer her to go either to Yoda, just like he did Luke,
But would Yoda have it in him? Because he was weak.
But maybe there was somebody else.
Again, some of the Jedi survivors, like Quinlan Vos, he was a former Jedi Master.
I mean, I think that something would have happened, because he said there was another. You'd think there'd be some sort of plan.
Well, I mean, that was a fallback, like you said. I think you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. I think that was a fallback plan if Luke failed, because that's why he said it to Obi-Wan. It was our last hope, and that's when he goes, no, there is another. Basically saying if Luke goes to Bespin and gets ganked, then they've got Leia. So you're right. He did have a fallback plan B.
I mean, and Anakin pretty old too. I mean, like even at the end, at the end of Return, when he fought Luke, he was like, he was in bad shape anyway.
Well, remember, 19 years in the Star Wars galaxy is rough on everybody.
Yeah.
You said it best, bro. I mean, but let's like try to calculate his age. He's what? How old is he when he is in Phantom Menace? Like, what is he like as a kid? I think he's 8, maybe roughly, maybe 10 tops. So then you give or take, I don't know how many more years.
Was that 19 years?
Yeah, but 19 between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope. So I'm trying to calculate his age roughly, anywhere from 8 to 10, and then he's probably about 16, 17, or 18. They're kind of saying in Attack of the Clones. So I would say he was about anywhere from, a rough guess, 22 to 26 years old in Revenge of the Sith. So add 19 years to that. So you're looking at 45-ish.
Younger than us.
Yeah, that's an old-looking 45-year-old dude, man. But now again, he also did get burned beyond recognition. I mean,
and he's on life support for how long?
I mean,
although he was every night or however he was going into that.
Yeah, he could take his help. Yeah, but I mean, he was obviously asthmatic. But
yeah.
I mean, I would say, if I had to fester a guess, bro, I would say anywhere from 40 to 50 years of age is what he was considered in. That's just my opinion, though. I could be way off in Return of the Jedi.
And obviously, they still grow old. I mean, that's not that old, but he's had a hard life.
Yeah.
I mean, he grew up a slave,
Yeah, he was Watto's slave.
Yeah.
I mean, but he was a happy kid. And then the worst thing that ever happened to him was him meeting up with the Jedi, I swear to God.
Yeah. So, Vader and Luke, the Empire continues. Mm-hmm. They probably continue working on that second Death Star.
Agreed.
Possibly the Death Star gets complete, unless, how necessary was Luke to the second Death Star getting destroyed?
That's what I mean. Like, as far as the way it went, Luke really didn't have much to do with the second Death Star. He wanted to go to the Death Star to try to save his father.
Yeah, so they might have...
He got himself captured on purpose.
They still have the Ewoks. More than likely they're going to take control of the shield generator. And
why was a generator on a planet like that?
It was a moon.
Right, or the moon, the
Forest
forest moon.
moon,
Yeah. Why was the shield generator to the Death Star? I'm not.
That's just where they decided to hide it.
That's a bad move by the Empire. I mean, especially with all the furry guys down there that are ready to. I don't know, man. You would have thought that you know what? Honestly, I would have thought that the Empire would have been smart enough to purge that entire forest of everything living in it before they.
Come on,
did
they're freaking teddy bears. I mean, if you scout that and you're seeing, oh, there's just a bunch of teddy bears. Are you really going to be? You know, you've got laser guns. You got.
Have you seen the Ted movies? You know Ted, the talking teddy bear. That'd have been great. There'd be a good spoof to put Ted in with the Ewoks.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think they found the Ewoks to be much of a threat. And to be honest,
I don't think so either.
And they were never. And to be honest, they weren't much of a threat until their god showed up and steered them to fight with them.
I'm gonna throw up, man. Their god. Honestly, though, and it's just there's a lot of different ways it goes. Let me ask you this, because we're about to hit the 20-minute mark, but we can go over a little bit if we want. Let me ask you this, though, personal question. As far as this is concerned, where do you lie? I'm going to ask you a question. If Vader does indeed seduce Luke to the dark side after Empire Strikes Back, and they start working on Leia, Leia's eventually going to have to face him. Now she's got to face double the persuasion, because she's going to end up finding out that that's her dad, and she's going to find out, regardless, she didn't know yet, but if they were able to seduce Luke to the dark side, neither one of them knew they were siblings yet, but then he would find out through his father, and then they would try to recruit Leia.
Yeah, I mean, my opinion is you're talking Leia's children. I don't think that Leia is going to have the training and the ability to fight two Sith Lords.
No, there's no way.
And so, I'm really into prophecy. You can tell that. I think that the prophecy becomes the chosen one is going to be one of her children.
It'll keep going as long as it stays within the bloodline. But are you saying that even though that happens, because you got to ask yourself a question, here's more ramifications. If Luke is indeed seduced by the dark side, who is she having children with? Because Han Solo's frozen in carbonite and they needed Luke to get him out.
Well, I mean, let's face it, Han Solo is not an integral piece of that Jedi puzzle. So, I mean, she'd have children with somebody.
Right, okay. So do you think that she would have done that? But if Luke is seduced and Yoda does say, no, there is another as far as hope, they're immediately trying to gain her for training immediately. It would be immediate. The second that they felt Luke fell to the dark side, they're going after Leia, Yoda and Obi-Wan. So that might distract her from being able to even have children.
Yeah, I mean, who knows?
I mean, it's just, there's so many different variables. Do you know how many different paths this thing could end up?
A lot, but I mean, on all these things, when we change the story, obviously Luke moving over it delays everything. It lengthens the time that the Empire's in power. You know, it puts a lot of people, a lot of planets at risk, because that Death Star possibly could get completed and wreak havoc. And
I mean, who knows? They keep growing and they could have more than one Death Star.
Yeah.
And imagine what that would do. Putting Death Stars all over the galaxy. Near different systems. That's control.
Yeah, that could be bad.
Well, I mean, yeah, you want to wrap that one up?
Sure.
That's about the time. But yeah, we'll do final thoughts, man. I'll give my quick final thought and you give your quick final thought. But I think that if they seduce Luke, I think, if anything, I have to agree with you 100%, they've got to find the prophecy through something. Leia was more stubborn than Luke, so maybe they don't recruit her as quickly. She is able to have children because the prophecy's going to make it happen. I mean, look, the prophecy formed one child without a father in Anakin, so if the prophecy holds true, it would probably happen again through Leia. I'm just saying that's a thought.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it, man. I mean, it definitely complicates it. The Empire lasts a lot longer. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think that Leia could potentially be the chosen one. If somebody's able to train her, maybe they could take their time and train her a little slower and have better training than Luke.
Mm-hmm. I mean, in fairness, I'm not a Luke fan, but he did kind of get rushed through it.
And, you know, if you think about Leia versus Luke, Leia was not as bound by her emotions as Luke was.
Right. I think physically Luke had the better gifts. I think mentally Leia would have been a better leader.
Right.
But that's just my opinion.
And less susceptible.
Yeah.
All right,
man. Well, cool. Good topic, brother.
Yes.
Let's move on into the next one. But yeah, please do all that fun stuff that we always have to do, like, subscribe, like, and all that cool stuff. Appreciate it. And yeah, on that note, brother, I am outro.
You too.